It's bad news for the fans of Arsenal all over the world. It's confirmed Takehiro Tomiyasu is going to be out for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. You know, that is 1 month and 2 weeks, or 14 days. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. Welcome to the Arsenal News Show as we bring you the latest news and information that is coming in from the side of Arsenal here onto our YouTube channel. And continue to subscribe because we want to hit 20,000 subscribers before the end of this year. That is 2023. By the 31st of December, I would be obliged to see to it that I come here and announce that we're going to hit that target. And how do we reach that target? If you're watching us for the very first time, lower right bottom corner is the place to be. Smash the black button that has the word subscribe. After smashing it, hit the notification bell. That will enable you get notified every time I upload a video onto this channel of ours. Now, it's a Wednesday. Yesterday, Arsenal went ahead to obviously beat the side of Luton Town by 4 goals to 3. Late winner coming in from Declan Rice. And today, all Arsenal fans will be keeping their eyes onto the screen to see how Liverpool settles it out with Sheffield, because Arsenal is 5 points clear ahead of Liverpool and 6 points ahead of City that is going to be playing against Aston Villa. So Arsenal fans have all the reasons to stay awake and really see how these results are really gonna unfold. Now, the other story we're going to talk about is from Mikel Arteta's mouth about the poor performance of David Raya. That's what we're going to discuss in here onto this channel, and allow me obviously go on and obviously start it off from Takehiro Tomiyasu. But we thank God for the gift of life. The Muslims Barakallahu Fikum, and let's see close to 300 likes smash on this video. Now, we've had a story coming in through from from Mikel Arteta. Before Arsenal went ahead to play, after Arsenal won against Luton Town, Arteta was asked about Takehiro Tomiyasu's injury, and his response was, "We had a scan and it's not good news. He's got an injury in his calf and he's going to be out for a while." That's what Mikel Arteta went ahead to obviously tell us, that the player is going to be out for a while. And it was really bad that he's now having a calf injury. The previous 2 injuries I've gone ahead to know about him have been the knee injury and the ankle injury. That is it. But this time round, this is a new injury coming into play for this player Takehiro Tomiyasu. And Tomiyasu had gone ahead to obviously had a very consistent performance for the club of Arsenal, and this injury comes in at a very bad time because in the last 2 games that going to play for Arsenal, he had gone ahead to put in a very good effort. 2 assists in the game of Arsenal as they beat RC Lons by 6 goals to 0, and then he came over the weekend and really had an assist for the game of Wolverhampton Wanderers, where Bukayo Saka scored the first goal, and he was really played into action by Gabriel Jesus. So in that game, that's when he obviously had to really walk off, and Ben White came in through and played the remainder of the minutes, and that's how he really walked off the field of play. And that's the photo with the team doctor of Arsenal taking him off the field of play in a very, 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 very worrying situation, because he felt a little bit of a discomfort. And Mikel Arteta, before Arsenal played the game of Luton Town, he told us that it was a precaution to obviously take him off, but he's waiting for the assessment results coming in from the scan. And when the game was done, he had the bad news that it's really a calf injury that's going to keep him out for a very long time. And when Mikel Arteta went ahead to obviously put out that, Takehiro Tomiyasu took on his Instagram and posted the following about this injury. And it is really touching for a player like him, being an injury-prone player ever since he came in through at Arsenal. Now, he posted on his Instagram and said, "I'm sick of being injured, but I believe this is the opportunity to be much stronger." You know, he has every reason to worry. That is Takehiro Tomiyasu. So do you know why? Arsenal cannot really operate in such situations, and it might be his last season at Arsenal. That is because Arsenal are going to be looking in for replacement, as a player cannot stay fit for 3 months. That is Takehiro Tomiyasu for you. As I told you that this is the last chance that Mikel Arteta is going to give Takehiro Tomiyasu at the beginning of the season. And when Bayern Munich came in through and obviously showed interest in him, I told you that it might be the last season of Takehiro Tomiyasu if at all he doesn't really keep himself available for picks in these games. We all don't doubt his potential. When we talk about Takehiro Tomiyasu, his potential is hugely undoubted. He has shown us how good he can be. He can play as a right back, he can play as a left back, and play the central defense. And Arteta described him one day that he's a dynamic center. He's a dynamic defender who can play across all the four positions of the central defense and in any system of the defense that you obviously play him in. So that is what Mikel Arteta said about this player, meaning that he has a lot of hope in him. But Tomiyasu is really out. Now, as everyone was really talking about him being out after Arteta said he's going to be out for a while, then this guy known as Team News Antics, he came out and really told us that Takehiro Tomiyasu is looking at 4 to 6 weeks on the sidelines. That's what he told us. Then we got another story coming in through from a very close source coming in from Arsenal, and this is Kaya Kanak. He's an Arsenal correspondent for the Football London, and this is what he had to put up in his article at the Football London. He said, understand Takehiro Tomiyasu set for 4 to 6 weeks out with latest calf injury. Big blow for Arsenal, who have Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Jakub Kiwior, Ben White, Zinchenko, and Cedric Soares as their only senior fit defenders, with 6 games left to play this month alone. This problem made it even worse by the fact that Thomas Partey, who has filled in at right back, is still out till next year most likely. Declan Rice could be an option at centre back, but with Vieira, Fabio, and Emily Smith-Rowe out in the midfield, that's not ideal either. Unlucky for Arsenal, who now look stretched ahead of a busy period. This is something I really went ahead to obviously talk about as far as Arsenal's trophy winning run is really concerned. That's why when I was talking to you guys yesterday about how Arsenal should obviously come in through and really put in a shift in this game against Luton Town, I told you Arsenal shouldn't bench anyone against Luton Town. They shouldn't bench anyone against Aston Villa, because those 2 games are really crucial. They should bench their entire players, the first 11, when they are playing against a side called PSV, because they have already gone ahead to top that group, such that they rest these players to be fit for the game of Brighton at the Emirates and Liverpool, and see how things will go on. But it's really bad for the club of Arsenal, because even Julian Timber is really out. Remember, Julian Timber is also like Tomiyasu. He can literally play in every position of the central defense. He can play as a left back, he can play as a right back, he can play as a central defender, and he can obviously be dropped into the midfield to play in there for you. But for Thomas Partey, it's also a huge blow, because Thomas Partey would have gone ahead to come in through and deputize sometimes as a right back, but he's also injured. So Arsenal is being eaten up by injuries, and to bring you up to speed, this guy joins Thomas Partey, Julian Timber, Emily Smith-Rowe, and Fabio Vieira, meaning that now Arsenal has close to 5 injured players. But for Thomas Partey and Emily Smith-Rowe, they are back on the grass and they are doing individual training. The same applies to Julian Timber, and he's back in the gym and trying to go through the rehabilitation that will see him return in the end or towards the end of the month of January. So that is it that we are told by Kaya Kanak. Now, Sammy McBall, him is a senior, is one of the chief reporters at the Daily Mail, also came in through with his article, and it had lots of details that Kaya Kanak, the Arsenal correspondent for the Football London, hadn't given us. He says, Takehiro Tomiyasu will miss Arsenal's festive fixtures with a calf injury. Best case scenario in 3 to 4 weeks. Blow for Mikel Arteta on this. If it's beyond 4 weeks, which is very possible, you are really getting into the realms of the transfer window, not playing for Arsenal until after the Asia Cup, which finishes in February. Told he may be he may be able to nick a game in early January before international duty, but recovery will dictate that. So it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad for Takehiro Tomiyasu, and it hasn't gone ahead to go his way as wanted. But he never came in here as an injury-prone player, but he has gone out for very many times. And if at all you are this guy, Mikel Arteta, you look to bring in a centre forward, by the way, during the January transfer window. And you might try to find out a player that can come in through and obviously play in that entire back line. Like you saw yesterday, Jakub Kiwior came in through and played as a left back. He can play in the central defense also. So he might look out for another player, because even when Julian Timber returns, you don't know how long he's going to keep fit. So he'll need to get in another player that can really give him a little bit of depth, because this scenario really is going to stretch William Saliba a lot. Arsenal is going to be playing 2 games per week, until the end of the year. So they need to rotate as soon as possible, and we will wait and see how that will pan out. So let's wait and see how that pans out. But for Takehiro Tomiyasu, it's bad news for Arsenal fans all over the world. Let's go to the last story of this episode, coming in through from Mikel Arteta himself. Yesterday, Arsenal nearly lost their game away at the Ken Hillworth Stadium, courtesy of the mistakes that were really orchestrated in the field of play by David Raya for the second and third goal, and Arteta was asked on the performance of his goalkeeper. He said, we have to defend better the situations. We have to defend better the situations as a team. There are certain things leading to the goals, and it's not about blaming. We have never done it, and we are not going to do it now. It's about how the team reacts to that, because it's going to happen, and I love the response. So he never wanted to really go and attack a player singly like David Raya, but we all know that he's not happy with what really happened. And it was orchestrated on Zinchenko in the game of Luton Town, having gone ahead to put in a very bad shift as they played against Wolverhampton Wanderers. He sloppily gave away the ball, and it resulted into Cunha scoring or pulling one back for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And for the remaining 10 minutes of the game, Arsenal really played on pressure. So he went ahead and really benched this player in the game of Luton Town and brought him in the 64th minute. So do you expect him to bench David Raya? I don't really expect that to happen, especially in the game of Aston Villa away. But if at all David Raya takes the same form, at Aston Villa, he might cost Arsenal. And I know it's just going to be a moment of time, because in the previous fixtures, David Raya had only conceded 1, 2, or 3 mistake, and they came in through different games, But everyone was okay with him and his pressure at Arsenal. But time is going to come when Arsenal is losing games because of David Raya, and I don't know what Mikel Arteta is going to do. If these mistakes continue coming in through, he'll obviously see himself drop, because the pressure will be immense on the manager, and the upthrust won't obviously see David Raya stay in between the stitches for the club of Arsenal. So for me, David Raya is not supposed to be the right guy to be in between the stitches of Arsenal. Trust me, unless otherwise it becomes better, but history doesn't show so, because teams like Liverpool had missed out on the Premier League and the Champions League because of a poor goalkeeper and a very bad defense. They went ahead and spent £75 million on to Virgil van Dijk and £60 million onto Alisson Becker, and those two players happened to win Liverpool the league and the Champions League. And for Arsenal, if they are still having David Raya in the Champions League, trust me, a Champions League is a tie of 2 games. It's not like a league. A Champions League is a sprint. A league is a marathon. So Arteta needs to style up and obviously make a better decision, because by the time he realizes that David Raya is costing him the trophy, I think it will be too late. So guys, your thoughts on Takehiro Tomiyasu out for 6 weeks are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about David Raya, and what Arteta had to say about the game, that they had to defend better for such things not to happen? Now, What of the corner? What did he have to do? Then the shot that was really babish, that really squirmed through his armpits. May the living to God bless you abundantly. Rokani David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later. Bye-bye. The Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum.